What is the biggest driving force of the United States support for Israel? We usually speak about the economic support, the economic interests, the military-industrial complex. We also speak about the lobbies. What's behind the lobbies, though, and who are the biggest lobbies supporting Israel in the United States? Is it AIPAC or is it another organizations? In this video, I wanted to give you a breakdown of the force of religion in the United States when it comes to shaping the policy, especially the foreign policy in relation to Israel. And in this video, I'm going to delve into the biggest Israeli supporting lobby inside of the United States, and it's not AIPAC. We're going to speak about Christian Zionism, and we are going to talk about the foreign policy statements by officials in the United States government alongside the level of influence that religion has on the United States and its policy shaping in the Middle East and in West Asia, including the biblical prophecies that the organizations that support Israel in the United States within Christianity and what they mean and how they are also playing a part in these movements supporting Israel. So we're going to start off with the lobbies. Now, many people have the idea that AIPAC is the biggest lobby supporting Israel in the United States, and that's not true. AIPAC and other Jewish majority organizations inside of the United States, they play a big role. AIPAC plays a role of being in the front the majority of the time. But the biggest lobby for Israel in the United States is called Christians United for Israel, CUFI. CUFI, they have a membership of 10 million people. This organization is led by a man called Hagee. Hagee is a guy who has been supporting Israel for a very long time, of course, within the evangelical community. And when we talk about the evangelical community inside of the United States, we're talking about approximately 25% of the US population, over 70 or 80 million people. Now, there are certain differences here. There are people who describe themselves as evangelical without necessarily meaning to be in line with the same religious organizations that align themselves within Israel or for the support of Israel. There are people within the evangelical community in general who have a shift in their opinion in relation to Israel. There were multiple polls in recent years speaking about the younger generation primarily, but also in the older generation in relation to Israel, particularly after the 7th of October. And after all of this escalation, with many people having, direct access to social media, online posts, people speaking about the matter, and they're questioning really why is their church, why are their leaders taking this position for Israel, despite all of the things that Israel's causing, despite all of the crimes that Israel is committing. Now, the United States support, like I said, it's usually explained in a case of geopolitical interests or geopolitical strategy or even financial interests in relation to Israel. But that's only part of the story. And the reason that I'm speaking about this today is because it reached a level for some people who are starting to be confused. Some people are literally starting to be confused because they're saying that, even if we talk about it from a geopolitical perspective, even if we talk about it from a military-industrial complex as well, it doesn't all add up. There's something else to it. And this is very important because, well, number one, it's causing a genocide against people. It's causing endless wars and crimes against humanity. And it's causing unnecessary chaos and havoc. How is that implemented? How are these religious beliefs and religious lobbies in the United States supporting, and how is that being translated? Well, we're seeing that from the people who are there to run the United States, people in the administration. The previous Trump administration, in his initial term between 2016 and 2018, he made multiple moves that are directly linked to the Christian Zionist lobby inside of the United States, in particular, the moving of the embassy to Jerusalem. He also made many statements, him and his administration, about Israel. Mike Pompeo made statements that, well, it's biblical prophecies or biblical aspects that lead the United States policy. And all of these things need to be taken into consideration because, well, not many people are speaking about this. Usually the analysis revolves around the political, geopolitical, and financial aspect. But, well, there's clearly something else to it, something that doesn't always make sense. And that's something that needs to be included in the conversation for people to understand. Because without it, again, some people start to get confused. And I've had many people who started to get confused. Why, how, doesn't really make a lot of sense. Even if we want to talk about the United States from a foreign policy aspect, why can't they have their interests, for example, with supporting a country that's normal, for example, that respects human rights, that adheres to international law? Now, the beliefs of those who follow Christian Zionism in the United States, the main thing is revolving around the fact that Israel is fulfilling a biblical prophecy. Israel is fulfilling a biblical prophecy, and the existence of the state of Israel, as it is at the moment, will hasten the coming, or what they believe as, the second coming of Christ. And according to their beliefs too, well, the Jews will have to convert, by the way. And that's something that, well, not all of the Christians are, of course, aligned with completely, and that many Jews, of course, oppose. And we've been speaking about the Jewish population in general, globally, even inside of Israel, and how many of them are already anti-Zionists. And there are talks about post-Zionism inside of Israel too. So this talk, this video, isn't intended in any way to portray a whole group of people as if they all have the same opinion. That's far from the truth. But there is a religious establishment inside of the United States that is supporting what's happening. And to them, it's something religious. It's purely religious. Before we talk about financial, if it's aligned with financial interests, if it supports financial interests, if it works hand in hand with it, that's a separate story. But the core of the belief, we are talking about a religious belief. Now, biblical prophecy, also a certain interpretation of verses that they believe in the Bible. One of them is Genesis 12:3. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. According to them, you're talking about Israel. And many American Christians interpret this as a divine command to support Israel unconditionally. Israel as a state. They're not even getting into the argument if these people are Israelis, real Israelis. The Israelis we're talking about biblically, real descendants. Or is it fake and made up? Where they're coming from, and all of these interpretations, of course, but that's a whole different debate, by the way. The DNA, right? And even with that, the argument that, well, even if they are the descendants, does that give them the right to go ahead on a rampage against other people? Separate story though, but it's very important. And their belief that Israel must be restored before this, what they believe as the second coming of Jesus. These beliefs, they are giving Israel a full backing and full support, and they are completely not focusing on any of the crimes that Israel is committing. Because according to their belief, they're implementing a divine policy, something divine, a divine order, by blessing those according to their interpretation. That's something very problematic. Of course, not all Christian denominations believe that. As a matter of fact, many Christians have the opposite opinion. But again, we're talking about Christian Zionism inside of the United States. And I spoke about it many times previously that the majority of Zionists are not even Jews. There are also links that, well, make us believe that Zionism as a movement is not Jewish by roots, by the way. The initial moves of people wanting to settle in Palestine or in what they call the land of Israel were generally Christian in their origin in the 19th century. Then Theodor Herzl came, and Jews called Herzl a blasphemous man, by the way. We know what many Jews talk about, how many Jews talk about Zionism. So they have the religious beliefs, they have the religious backing, and you're talking about people who do not consider what Israel is doing against the Palestinians, turning a complete blind eye. And this becomes scary here. Why? Because we are speaking about people who claim to be religious. And in general, if you hear them talking, people who want like peace and what's good and this and that, but as if nothing's happening now, as if nothing happened even with the formation of the State of Israel and the injustices against the Palestinians since 1948 and even before 1948. And now with this whole genocide that is being implemented in front of the whole world and being live streamed by the victims themselves. This is something very concerning. Now, of course, not all Christians support them, not all Jews support them, but these people play a big role. They play a big role, and that role is being implemented in the United States foreign policy. And this is why this matters. This is why I'm speaking about this subject now. It matters because these people and their beliefs are driving United States policy abroad that is killing people, killing and slaughtering people endlessly, without any hesitation. And these people who call themselves religious and support Israel on a religious basis, it's as if, nothing is happening. It's as if, Israel can do whatever it wants for the sake of making Jesus come back quicker or something. Again, according to their belief. And it raises, of course, ethical questions. Ethical questions, lots of contradictions, right? Can you really combine these beliefs, and can you justify what Israel is doing and has been doing all along just because you interpret your religion in that way? That's something very important. And this is something that I believe we should focus on now, because the United States, as a government, as a country, as an administration, supporting all of these atrocities for so long, that has to stop. And there are changes. It's not that there aren't changes. There are changes within, of course, the Jewish population in general, within the Christian communities who traditionally support Israel, in particular, evangelical Christians. But we're still facing organizations talking on behalf of these people, religious leaders, televangelists, meeting with war criminals 24/7 and justifying what Israel is doing religiously. So it's not only Israelis who are doing that. No, the American Christian Zionists. And again, the American Christian Zionists are the majority of Zionists across the world. And that's something that we should focus on and talk about. And this was the main reason behind this video. If you like this video, let me know. If you want me to talk about similar subjects, do let me know as well. Comment below what you think. And also let me know if you think that the religion should play a role in foreign policy. And what do you think about the influence of Christian Zionism in the United States administration, and especially in relation to the support of the United States administration for Israel?